You're listening to Sister Stargazers, celestial and terrestrial observations and advice from two real-life sisters. Welcome, fellow stargazers. Your sisters are in the house. Happy April, Jude.
Yes, happy spring, Sarah.
I know, it's so exciting. This episode 83, we're going to look roughly around Sunday, April 9th through Saturday, April 15th. You want to just dive in? Where should we start?
Yeah, the week gets off to a slow start unless you're recovering from that full moon on the 6th.
6th, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that might have been a doozy for you. But as we're rolling into this week, it's pretty quiet Sunday and Monday. You know, the moon is making trines to Neptune. It enters Sagittarius. It sextiles Pluto. But nothing really is happening until Tuesday. And then we have Venus entering Gemini. So she's going to be working through the same quadrant of the zodiac that Mars has just been in. And Venus in Gemini loves intellectual conversation. It's a really light place for Venus to be. It's not as tactile, you know, like Venus in Taurus was very tactile and very sensual, but Venus in Gemini is much more interested in ideas and conversations and planning and money-making schemes. Like she's got a lot of ideas about, you know, making money. And so she enters Gemini and then immediately within a few hours makes a trine from Gemini over to Pluto. Okay. So this deepens the conversation, any conversation that Gemini is going to have, because these conversations are going to be not just light and fluffy, they're going to be kind of deep and heavy. Okay. In a good way, you know, so it could be that it's a good time to really express how you feel, let the other person come forward with what they have to say. Yeah. And it's a lot of truth and disclosure that Venus in Gemini trine Pluto in Aquarius could offer. Okay. And so that aspect is going to be in play all week, and it kind of flavors a little bit of what comes next. The moon enters Capricorn. The sun is in a separating aspect to Chiron, so which was exact on the 5th and flavored, gave a lot of power to the full moon. But the sun is now separating from that conjunction with Chiron, and it's entering the conjunction with Jupiter, which is right next to Chiron. So anything that was magnified at the time of this full moon might be even more magnified as the sun comes into its exact conjunction with Jupiter in Aries. Yeah. And this might have to do with finding your own personal truth. Like Jupiter is about truth. It wants honesty. And it's also, in Aries, it tends to kind of be unfiltered. It's kind of big truth, you know, and the sun meeting up with Jupiter might be on the heels of this Venus trine Pluto. It might be exposing or revealing or illuminating more truths that might resonate really personally with you as an individual, or each of us as individuals. So this exact time of the sun conjunct Jupiter is 6:06 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday the 11th. And this might also be a good time to do a ritual to magnetize to yourself and reaffirm the wish list that you might have started at the time of the new moon. Yes. That was back at the time of the equinox, which was not that long ago.
Yeah, March 20th.
Yeah, although it might feel like it was ages ago, you know, like
it does.
So much has happened. And I also just want to invite you and the audience, especially, to just consider what might have shifted for you in the house that Aquarius rules. So your own personal chart, are there situations that might have shifted now that Pluto has entered into Aquarius? Because Pluto carries a big whop, and it might be obvious, or you might be just getting like little tingly kind of tickles of what might be further elaborated as Pluto moves more fully into Aquarius, but it won't get anywhere near 1 degree before before it starts backing up again.
Okay.
But this is just a time period between now and June to kind of just look at what might be shifting around in the house that Aquarius rules.
Got it.
And the house that Pluto is now in. So Tuesday, April 11th, the moon is going to be swinging through the last degrees of Sagittarius. So at sunrise on Tuesday the 11th, the moon will be at 25 degrees Sagittarius, making trines back to a number of planets, the Sun, Jupiter, Eris, and Vesta in Aries. So this lineup in Aries has really been coaxing us into investigating what we truly want to do, what truly inspires us. And as the moon moves through those last degrees of Sagittarius, it makes trines back to the Sun, Jupiter, Eris, and Vesta. That's going to give us a bit of an opening to allow the universe, the galactic center, to be inspiring those ideas.
Yes.
Of where we want to go in the future.
Yes.
And so there's been a lot of potential during this first bit of spring about where we can go, like individually, what is possible, and where do we want to be, and how do we want to shape the season. And this particular time, this early morning of the 11th, with the moon sweeping through Sagittarius and those late degrees of Sagittarius, is going to give us an opening to really envision that even more.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing, a really good thing, and we can take advantage of it. Tuesday, we're still on Tuesday. Yeah.
It's a big day.
Also on Tuesday, Uranus is going to make a conjunction to Juno at 17 degrees Taurus. Now, the previous week, Venus was making a conjunction to Uranus at exactly the same degree. So Venus conjunct Uranus might have signified the potential of a new project, an exciting new person. Because it's in Taurus, it might have been the possibility of new income or different income streams or different kinds of ways of earning a living. So watch for this Juno conjunction of Uranus. There might be an additional embellishment or an additional person that comes in and wants to partner or work together or cooperate or find ways to advance your talents or your skills. Like Juno's all about finding ways to support. Right. She's the consort of and supporter in an equitable way as well. She's looking for ways where people can do their best work with their best people. And I would say that this is also kind of a theme of this week with all of these planets in Aries, is finding not only who to partner with, but finding within yourself the things that you want to do, like the things that you want to partner up, you want to express. And Aries is all about finding the courage to move forward in ways that are more authentic.
Yes.
So this gives us an opening for that, this Juno-Uranus conjunction. On Wednesday, the 12th, the sun is on its way to making a conjunction with Eris at 24 degrees Aries. So Eris is the goddess of discord. She stands up for the downtrodden and the ones that have been excluded, right? The ones that have been shut out. And Eris is a fierce grace. She's very eloquent in the way that she speaks of equity, issues around equity, fairness, especially societal equity. So the sun in a conjunction with Eris is going to shine a light on issues of what is fair, what is right, what are perhaps human rights, what might be considered, what is the full definition of human rights. This is an Eris in Aries issue. Rights for women. This came up in the early part of the 20th century when Eris moved into Aries. So rights for the individual, right? With the sun in Aries combining its force with Eris in Aries, there might be issues around human rights, the rights of individuals, in a collective and how to advance those, how to speak up for or fight for those rights. And there might be a new way of seeing issues in that way.
Great.
The moon will also that day in Capricorn make a conjunction to Pholus. So Pholus is the centaur that popped the wine cork off the sacred flask and started a war, a centaur war. And so Pholus is about the lid, there's pressure.
Yes.
And the lid just kind of pops off. So the moon, with the moon making a conjunction to Pholus, the moon can represent the public. So there might be issues that come to the surface that have just been kind of pushed down for a while.
Yep.
And this, in conjunction with the sun, with the sun's conjunction to Eris, might be a bit of a poof. There might be something that just kind of like all of a sudden it's in the news. It's like something has come up. It's been kind of simmering, but the moon has now met up with Pholus, and just the awareness is there that the pressure is so great that it's just pushed something over the edge.
Yes.
So it also, at the same time, when the moon meets Pholus, it makes trines from Capricorn back to Mercury, Uranus, and Juno in Taurus. So this can be some kind of heartfelt, spontaneous, and possibly surprising partnership energy or situations. And it might be that groups align that normally would not.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, Uranus with Juno could also be people getting together that may not have all of their issues aligned, but they have one or two really big issues aligned.
Very good.
That then pop, push the issue forward.
Great.
And then we have that last quarter moon on April 13th, and that's a cardinal square from the moon in Capricorn squaring the sun in Aries. The sun is at 23 Aries. The moon is at 23 Capricorn. And yes, there's a T-square. If we consider during that last quarter moon phase with the moon square the sun is square to Pallas Athene in Cancer at 22 degrees Cancer.
Okay.
So there could be plans that we've been wanting to make that just they're not gaining any traction. There needs to be more consideration put into whatever these plans are.
Yep.
You're wanting to move it forward.
Yes.
But things just aren't in place yet. You don't have all of the things lined up, all of the weavings, all of the tools that you need. So I would just go easy on that, because that T-square is going to hold a lot of tension in terms of trying to move something forward. And it's just not going to happen. That's Thursday, April 13th. So you might find that you're feeling out of sorts. Just take that day and try to also just kind of pull back a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
The moon enters Aquarius. It conjuncts Pluto at 0 degrees. So watch for news or insights of possibly what this new Pluto placement in Aquarius might mean for you, because the moon is coming through. The moon is pinging on Pluto at 0 degrees Aquarius. So there might be a bit, of an emotional, there might be an issue that comes up that really rubs you the wrong way, or that you're really bothered by something. It affects you personally, in other words. So this moon entering Aquarius and conjuncting Pluto might give you an inkling of what the Pluto in Aquarius era can mean for you, because it's going to be there for 20 years.
Amazing.
Yeah. Last but not least, Venus squares Saturn at the end of the week on the 14th. So this is, again, Venus was trining Pluto at the beginning of the week. So intense conversations that might have come to a stalemate. Venus squares Saturn. Things are, again, not moving forward. So it's a pause in your social calendars, a pause with conversation, a pause with, maybe you're questioning somebody's intentions or loyalties.
Yep.
You might be wondering where your friendship is at. Did that person, why didn't they call me back? Why, do I really want to see that person again? There's like a lot of assessment going on with Saturn.
Yes.
So Venus square Saturn, again, just kind of hang back. Thursday would be a good day just to not let anything bother you.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, moon sextile Jupiter and sun. So have an opportunity to revisit that wish list again.
Yes. Yep.
And the moon enters Pisces later in the day, which will give us a little bit of a break during the weekend.
I'll just throw out that the card that came up this week, sort of reinforcing the things you're talking about, is the Page of Wands. A couple of things that stood out to me with this card is that it can symbolize beginnings. It could be an announcement to the world, an announcement to ourselves, the start of projects, something we're ready to begin. Can be a card about reflection, consideration, maybe even indecisiveness. Just what you were just talking about, the aspect, keeping things simple. The Page of Wands wants to keep things simple. So don't make things too complicated or complex. Maybe get back to the simple foundation, stay grounded. There's this beautiful wand staff that the page is kind of anchored into the earth as they consider whatever it is they're considering. It says to either get away from complexity or develop the maturity to deal with it. So offering that as a support of the aspects this week.
And there's one more thing that's happening on Tuesday, the 11th.
Oh,
Mercury will be at its greatest eastern elongation, and that's 19.5 degrees from the sun. So this is the best time to view Mercury in 2023, since it will be at its highest point above the horizon in the evening sky.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, you can see it. It's pulled away from a conjunction of the sun, so it's about 19.5 degrees away from the sun, and it's going to be in the evening sky just above the horizon, and the moon won't have risen yet, so it's going to be very clear. So look for the planet low in the west just after sunset.
Love it.
Yeah.
Visual astrology. Well, thanks, Jude.
Yes, you're welcome.
Listeners, you can always reach us via email at connect@sisterstargazers.com. You can visit our website, sisterstargazers.com, and you can also still tune in Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Time from anywhere where you can get an internet connection to wmpg.org if you want to hear us live every Monday night, do a little deep dive the astrological week. Otherwise, this is great. Mid-April, here we are. Thanks, Jude.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. Take care, everybody out there. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Sister Stargazers. Let us know what worked for you this week. Find us on Facebook and post a comment at Sister Stargazers.